Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, November 25th, 2018. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions. Someone is asking why we authorize child souls to be here. How do we explain that we should care about those who are smaller and weaker than we are? How do we explain that we should care about anybody else? These are dead children from deeper, denser dimensions who are trying to get to the light, and we're not going to boot them out. If they manage to make it this far, they can stay here while they get a grip. We give them citizenship.
That's true.
For whom is the message, and why do you ask? That helps a little bit. Maybe we're just face down on the life path. Maybe
that's true.
We're not even facing up. Maybe that's what's gone awry. We see how the many and varied rules of the Search for Truth community include a process called a morning protocol, which we employ every morning in an attempt to get the alignment to where it needs to be so that we stand a chance of doing whatever it is we're supposed to be doing that day. Someone is giving us the go-on hand and asking what we know, and we know that last night there was a shift change.
That's true.
A pretty solid and profound shift change. Information came to somebody's attention that was really wildly different from what the party line had been, and different enough that they were able to acknowledge it, recognize it, and decide to do something different about it. And they sent in a bunch of new souls, and those new souls are trying to figure out what to do.
That's true.
And I think that they did a very bad job of the morning protocols.
That's true.
And we acknowledge that, and therefore we don't feel so great right now. We think that that's
true.
what happened. For whom is the message, and why do you ask? Somebody's asking what we make of it, and I don't know who's answering, but the person who's answering says we make of it that those rules actually have value, and so maybe we were wrong about that.
That's true. Maybe we were wrong about what someone said.
It might have to do with the attitude with which they approached the morning protocols this morning.
That's true.
Just that surely can't be as important as everybody keeps acting like it is, and how can that be more important than what I have planned to do? Let me finish what I have planned, and then you can have your little morning protocol if it pleases you. And
that's the attitude of the souls that came in the overnight.
Yes, thank you.
That's totally the attitude.
Yes, is I, the soul, have something very important that I have come in to do, and I understand that you have this little morning protocol ritual that you do, and so if you need to rub your lucky charm, then you can do that. And that isn't what the morning protocols are for at all. There's a hand up that says maybe this is part of the confusion, and this is a voice to whom we should listen. And they're talking about the astral currents and the tumbling, and how people think, souls who come into the depths think that when they sit up that they are upright, and that is not necessarily the case energetically in these troubled times. And so the necessity of getting the alignment straight, which we went through the motions of this morning.
That's true.
But but not like we normally do, not with the same focus that these collectives normally give to that process. And when we feel along the timeline of the day, what's been missing is a really good quality morning protocol. So the attitude, maybe we were wrong, because the initial imprint was that these souls have decent attitudes, and it seems like they have a I know better attitude rather than a rule-following attitude.
That's true.
And that's dangerous, but maybe they will have learned, because they do seem to have good intention and they want to make a difference, and they see that they were wildly mistaken about how they thought the problems were going to be addressed.
That's true.
But now, to avert complete collapse, we're never going to get any good quality souls into this dimension if we lose readily available food and safe places to sleep and easy ways to get clean.
That's true.
No good quality soul is going to come into hunter-gatherer lives. That's just not how it works.
That's true.
And that's, we believe, our interpretation, and I have no idea who's speaking, but their interpretation of what happened a couple of days ago when some big soul said to a group of other souls, if this really bad thing happens, you are all fired. And we think that that really bad thing was the complete collapse, so that there is no more electricity or indoor plumbing or readily available food or safe places in which to sleep.
That's true.
And if that happens, these souls who've just kind of been maybe hoping that someone else would solve the problems, or the problems would magically resolve on their own,
Yeah.
they would all be fired. And therefore, this morning's little experiment in giving short shrift to the morning protocols that have been in place for how long? Years? Years. That's a good test. That attitude that someone else will solve the problem doesn't actually work, and that we all need to pay more attention. What now to avert complete collapse? Are you guys doing anything to invoke instant karma? If you simply invoke instant karma, stop having there be this really long delay time between life goings on and the payback wheel, but just have it happen right away so that we get our feedback continually. Then Angela Merkel and others who are not dodging responsibility but who are stepping up, let's say Bill McKibben of 350.org.
That's true.
He's also somebody who's stepping up. He doesn't have as much pull as Angela Merkel, but Angela Merkel's pull is getting chipped away at because she's not getting support, and attempting to discern what's happening. It really seems that the karmic delay is a big part of the problem.
That's
so
true.
Who up there is already invoking instant karma? I do see some hands.
I see some hands up.
Okay, let's align so that they are up. Assume that that's where up is. And now attempt to merge with first the host lives. Feels calmer.
Oh, that's true.
And merge with the life path to evacuate the even deeper, denser dimensions, which also feels calmer.
That's true.
And merging with Pan's workplace below. And attempting to rotate to face forward on that life path to evacuate the even deeper, denser dimensions. Kind of looks like a sidewalk.
That's true.
And some days it looks vastly different than that, but that's what it looks like right now.
Oh, that's true.
And to pump up dead children and their environments from Pan's workplace below, up through the ground zero host life spines and neck and cranium, up through the big channels of the visiting souls to the highest powers we can connect with right now, who are invoking instant karma, and ask, what now in order to avert complete collapse? What now in order to support the planetary consciousness Angela Merkel, who has accepted the job? She was on the approved list and she accepted the job. Somebody's questioning that. She was on the next best funded list.
That's true.
The top tier of best funded. All turned down the job. Nobody wanted to do it. And if you look at what Jeff Bezos is doing, he's putting in faulty facial recognition software that something like 32 members of Congress who were all happening to be people of color, all were falsely misidentified as wanted criminals.
That's true.
Probably it's racially flawed, probably it's bigoted software, and he's selling that to ICE, he's selling that to the Immigration and Customs agency. That's what Jeff Bezos is up to. He's selling bigoted, flawed facial recognition software to the immigration bad guys.
That's true.
So that's not siding with the good guys. That's not doing what the situation calls for. That's not stepping up for spirit. That's siding with the bad guys.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry. And so none of the best funded list accepted the job. And Jeff Bezos was offered the job and did not accept it.
That's
to his
true.
credit, he didn't accept it.
That's true.
That's one way of thinking of it. Or to his detriment, he didn't accept it, which is another way of thinking of it.
That's true.
He didn't accept it, and Mark Zuckerberg also didn't accept it, and Pope Francis also didn't accept it.
That's true.
And so we had to, the instructions were, I don't know who the we is, I don't know who the group is, but the instructions were to go to the next best funded group of presences that had been vetted as planetary consciousness possibilities, and Angela Merkel was the first name on that second tier.
That's true.
And she accepted the job.
That's true.
That's why Angela Merkel is the planetary consciousness. Look at the signatories. The document is witnessed many, many times. It's all completely legal. Look, it's in the Akashic Records.
That's true.
What now to support Angela Merkel, the planetary consciousness? Who up there is already invoking instant karma? Thank you. We thank you. We thank you for invoking instant karma. Please invoke it on our behalf and on the behalf of all humans in Ground Zero Planet Earth and all non-humans in Ground Zero Planet Earth. Please invoke it on behalf of Ground Zero Planet Earth. And then, friends, just very quickly go out and do some good deeds. It's super easy to accrue good karma. It takes really no brains at all. Just go out and do nice things. Take courageous, selfless actions on behalf of the greater good if you're willing to do that, and then you'll rack up a bunch of good karma really fast.
That's true.
And then pray for instant karma to be invoked in your situation also. That's all it takes.
That's true.
But really just go help suffering people, help the elderly who are being abused by the Western medical system, who are basically being farmed for medical procedures.
That's true.
Or help children whose mother wanted to abort them and who did not have access to that service, and therefore the child is struggling in a life of poverty.
That's true.
For which there is no solution, because the same people who want to ban abortions also want to cut off funding for food for poor children.
That's true.
And they say that God's telling them to do that. And so we really need to work on this, friends. We pray. Will you invoke instant karma for all?
I do feel clearer in the head.
It's the morning protocol that's so helpful. Let's intend to complete the turn to up and complete the turn to forward, merging into the host lives once more, and notice how quickly we lose merge. And merge with Pan's workplace below, noticing how quickly we lose merge, swishing the energy vertically, all of us to our right places, merging with that life path to evacuate to the even deeper, denser dimensions and begin to pump up refugees who really want to get to the light. All who are working, actively working right now to get to the light. We help them. In German there's a phrase, hilfst dem selbst, so hilfst der Gott. And we might be butchering the pronunciation, but it basically says God helps those who help themselves, meaning not who help themselves to good things. But if you're trying to get to the light and you're putting effort into it, yes, Spirit will give a boost. For whom is the message, and why do you ask? Friends, it can be so easy to think that other people are going to solve this enormous mess for us, but it just isn't looking good for that. And so we all need to change. We really do all need to make personal sacrifices to begin the process of moving this country into sustainability. We're completely unsustainable right now, and so really everybody needs to be moving toward renewable energy as individuals, and we can all do that. We all have some ability to do that. There are community solar and community wind farms that one can participate in if one is not a homeowner and doesn't have the ability to install solar panels. You can still participate, but we've all got to do this because our government is failing. It's corrupt. So we can do it. It's okay. We don't need them to lead. We can do it ourselves. Please, we would like instant karma for all in this dimension. Goes way up.
Yeah, it does go way up.
It feels better.
A lot better.
Okay. All right.